Hello everyone, I'm Dan the Man. Most seasons of any show have at least one filler episode, and for better or worse, this was Harley Quinn's. Now that doesn't mean this was a bad episode. Filler episodes can sometimes be really good episodes, but this one was far from bad and mostly enjoyable, but after the last couple of episodes, this episode felt a bit out of place, even if it did fit the narrative of the season. First off, the core of this episode, Harley visiting her parents. Should mention first that while not surprising given the liberties this show takes, but the parents in this episode were not much like Harley's parents in the comic book, although it's consistent with the glimpses we got of them back in episode 5. In the comics, Harley's dad is a criminal and con man, but they're portrayed as mostly nice people and supportive of Harley. Well, good people for a family whose patriarch is a criminal, at least. As opposed to the more extreme version we got here. In Harleys Bubble, not perfect, would never try to kill Harley like this one did. As a fan of the comic books, it kinda killed some of my enjoyment. Now I fully understand and defend that TV adaptations of comic books can't be expected, for various reasons, to be exactly like the comics. But I was disappointed they changed them as much as they did here. But judged on their own merits, and not compared to the comic books, they were decent characters. Her mom was funny, and the jokes that Harley's parents delivered landed, and like always, made this show able to get some chuckles out of me. I'm not sure why they killed off her brother, though. Maybe they just didn't feel he was needed, but I don't know why they involved him at all in this episode. It's not like he was such a vital character to anything that they couldn't have done the show without acknowledging his presence, so it seemed a bit odd. Didn't hurt anything, it was just odd. I did love the Quinzel sitcom opening parody that they did. That was some quality stuff. And the chat between Harley and her sane self also landed well with me. Wish they'd done more of that this season than just the one other time they did before. Now the scenes of the assassins trying to kill Harley Quinn, those were both gory. This show continues to push the boundaries on that, but if you're an adult show on a streaming service, why wouldn't you? But they also were some great action scenes, possibly some of the best. And I will say, the moment of her father and mother turning on her, in hindsight, at least her father turning on her shouldn't have been a surprise. But I gotta admit I didn't see it coming. Narratively it did make sense though, as they needed a reason for Harley not to stay with her parents. As for the rest of the cast, the scenes with Poison Ivy and the Henchman were fine, but I gotta say it didn't feel original. The Henchman who was not so Henchman-like and his exchange with Ivy just didn't really work for me. I don't know why. It felt like I'd seen that kind of thing before too many times, I guess. I like the scene with the dandelion going to get help for Harley. I do like how this show has Harley's plants tend to have personalities and be sentient. That would be a bit too corny in the comic books, but for this show, it totally fits the theme. And speaking of Harley's plants, Frank got his biggest chance to shine this episode with the subplot of him and the stoner he hired trying to get to Harley to help save Ivy. The scene of the pot dealer trying to get the psychedelic honey was actually my favorite part of this episode. It was the kind of ridiculousness I love from this show that was missing from this mostly grounded episode. Well, grounded aside from the city of Dandelion, but maybe dandelions do have personalities. We don't know their life. Also, the revelation of Penguin's nephew being behind the bounty on Harley and the scene with Bane were a good fun note to end this episode on. It served no larger purpose, but it made me laugh, and we got to see more of Bane, and that is never a bad thing. So my final thoughts on the episode: for what it was fine, but it did kill the pace of the storyline right as it is picking up near the end of this batch of episodes. And it really served no purpose except to kill time. It was funny enough, but even the jokes, while funny, were not up to the show's usual standards, at least in my opinion. Just a forgettable, middle-of-the-road episode. A shame as the last two have been so good, but at the same time, if this is the worst it gets, I can't complain. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and to share this video. And be sure to check out my review of Harley Quinn's last episode if you haven't seen it yet. And also check out my video on Stargirl, the next show to come from DC Universe after these 13 episodes end, which sadly is coming way too soon. I'm Dan the Man, and I'll see you next time.